This is part 3 to my Nuthatch drama series. I will link part 1 and 2 up in the right hand corner now. When I last left off, the Nuthatches were getting ready to nest, and Dart was intruding on 2 other males' territories. So how did they all do? Out of the 3 pairs I know, I found just one nest. It belonged to Hatch and his new mate Maggie. I really didn't put much effort into finding the others though. I barely saw Patch, Hatch's previous mate, during the nesting period, but I would see her new mate Dart every day. The other pair, Kiwi and Lentil, I'd see every day too, and I thought for sure I was close to their nest, but never did find that one either. With barely any time on my hands to fully commit to all of the birds, I decided not to waste my time looking. Out of all the females, Maggie was the only one I saw just about every time I went out. Dart stopped intruding on the other males' territories. I guess with Patch nesting, he really couldn't mess around leaving the territory. And besides all of that, Dart seemed to be preoccupied with a problem, his feathers. It may be the early stages of the molt, or maybe some pesky parasite. In July, Hatch and Maggie had just one that fledged. I'm not sure if they had more babies, but I really don't think they did because I only ever saw just one. Interestingly, shortly after, Maggie nested again. During this time, Patch and Dart's babies fledged. They had more than one, probably around 6 or more. I got to see a couple of them, but most of the time they stayed high up in the trees. I never got to meet Kiwi and Lentil's babies, which seemed to have fledged in early August. Hatch and Maggie had more babies in August, but I didn't get to see them much. Time is just not on my side these days. As the weeks went by though, and the babies were more grown up, a few of them continued to hang around their parents' territory. I noticed that with Hatch and Maggie's, and especially Kiwi and Lentil's. In fact, a couple of their little ones were pretty curious of me, especially since their parents were feeding from my hand. I love how the little one looks kind of like a hummingbird as it tries to get the nerve up to land on my hand. After a couple of tries, he got the courage, but it's easy to see that he's still quite unsure. Over the weeks, though, his trust grew. Kiwi and Lentil weren't too thrilled about this. By September, Hatch's territory seemed to move. Rather than hanging out here, he has now moved closer to the border of Dart's territory. The funny thing is that it wasn't long before Dart went back to intruding on Hatch's territory, and Kiwi's too. Hatch and Dart's territory are so much closer to each other though. They often call back and forth to each other from the edge of their territories, and I just find that so darn cute. It's a lot of fun getting to observe and interact with 3 different Nuthatch pairs. They are just the most fun little birds ever, so expressive too. Hatch's new mate, Maggie, took to me very well. With Dart, it took a little longer. Kiwi and Lentil started out pretty skittish, but wow, these 2 have come a long way lately. Sadly though, things have taken another path, one I really didn't want. Dart is missing. I saw him last on the 2nd of October. I've looked around for him but haven't found him anywhere. Patch was alone. And now Patch is gone too. I last saw her on the 4th of October. I never got to know Dart as well as I would have liked. His disappearance came completely unexpected. I find that very odd that Patch is gone too, and I can't help but to think that she must have left her territory, perhaps to find another male nuthatch. She's lived here for 3 years, all of her cached food is there. I find it hard to believe that she would leave, but that has to be what happened. I've considered the idea that maybe Dart migrated and then Patch shortly after, but that just doesn't seem to make sense to me. Although I do hear it is an eruption year with these guys. People have told me they are seeing a lot of them arriving to their location this fall. I've looked for Patch a few times now, and I really don't think she is here anymore. Hatch actually comes into that territory now. I guess with no Dart around to defend it, Hatch doesn't really have to worry much, but he doesn't seem comfortable when he's here and always goes back to his own territory. If Patch left because she had no other choice due to Dart's disappearance, then I truly wish her all the best out there. If I had any clue where to look for her, I would. Things change so quickly. I will miss Dart and his little beats, and Patch too. I admit though that I was quite curious to see if Hatch would eventually move into his old territory or not. And as of late, it seems that's exactly the case. Hatch slowly claimed his old territory back. I find him and Maggie here a lot. He's even defending it from other nuthatches now, like Kiwi and Lentil. Hatch seems more comfortable than he was initially. I guess he realizes that Patch and Dart are really gone. In a way, I find that pretty cool that in the end, Hatch got his old territory back. He's lived here for over 4 years at the least. I am happy for him. The lives of birds, huh? Who would have thought that they lead a much more complicated life than we like to think? I mentioned earlier in the video that some of Kiwi and Lentil's little ones come to my hand for food. Well, it seems that I still have one of them that intrudes on their territory when I'm there. Kiwi and Lentil do not approve. I find it neat that one of their offspring is still around though. I plan to continue making more of these videos about the nuthatches, so stay tuned for more. Thanks a lot for watching. Happy birding!